Oh my God, Cynthia, look at that
She looks
apothecary behind
beautiful.
you. Yes. I'm gonna
Oh,
Everything.
Jen, your background's gorgeous too.
yeah, you got your lights working again. I'm gonna call you BW. It's kind of like GW, but better.
Aw.
Because Buffalo, I don't know if I can, if Buffalo, I don't know. BW?
Sure, that's fine.
You're
Wow,
beautiful.
look at that apothecary.
It's so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my gosh. Wow. All right, so let's if you don't mind, I'm gonna
You're gonna what?
center us
Okay.
because I've been running. So I need feet on the ground, deep breath, putting aside everything that brought you here to this moment, what happened this morning, the to-do list, setting it aside for the next hour. You can pick up anything you need to, but for this hour, setting it aside. And a deep breath in, breathing in the smells, got incense going. You all probably do. Does. The pictures on the wall, the statues, the rocks, the twigs, all of the things that you have in your house, bringing you to this point in time. And another deep breath in. Asking that we be guided in this next hour to tell our stories, to share, to help others on this path. And so it is.
No idea. I can't see Jen on my screen.
When she's talking, you will be able to.
I see. Okay.
Hey, I love you
I
both.
love you too.
I really
There,
do.
there also is probably something on your screen where you could do gallery view and then show everybody at the same time. When Jen was talking, did it go to her?
It did.
Yeah, that might be the best you're going to be able to do on the phone.
I do want to say it's a beautiful day today. I have went outside, centered, enjoyed the sun and the beauty of it today. And I just want to say what a beautiful day it was. And it is.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I can see you, Jen, when you're talking, but I can't figure
Yeah.
out how to have us all up at the same time.
It's so cute. All right, so I'm Karen McGrandle, and of the Divine Feminine app. I've had an online community to help find women's circles, events, retreats for the past dozen years. And just to jump in and dive in right here, I started. Long story short, I started the app when I found myself struggling like so many of us. I was surviving every day. I was fourth kid, two struggling marriages, and On number four, I was like, if I don't find like-minded people and community, I'm just going to lose it. And so I started a mothers group, and through the mothers group, I had a friend who did Universal Dances of Peace. And she asked me if I would be interested in doing a full moon circle. And I had no idea at the time what that meant. But me being me, I'm like, yeah, why not? A November, I think, gosh, it was, oh yeah, November 2016. Uh, she came over, another girl, and we were in my backyard with a fire lit, and she did a circle, and it just, I later read Clarissa Pinkola Estes, and it said my cells were like, oh my gosh, this is what I've been missing. It just
Yeah.
really moved me. So here I am, almost a dozen years later, and I started hosting women's circles because I couldn't find one near me. And through the women's circles, I didn't start off to become a witch or get into goddess culture, but it found me. And that's what happens to so many of us. Yeah, all of a sudden we would incorporate in, the first time I remember we did a power exercise of who's your power figure. And I said in my mind it was this woman in this Met Grandel, so Celtic background. I saw this woman standing on the cliffs of Moher. I didn't know there were the cliffs of Moher at the time, but on these cliffs by the ocean, and just this really, kind of maybe green, dressed in green dress or some other type of outfit, and just this face full of compassion and strength and wisdom. And a friend of mine in the circle said, well, that's Brigid. I said, who? And that's the first one, the first goddess that found her way to, Brigid, and Brigid is a bridge. And I've felt like that's kind of been something I've continued, this bridge between Brigid, when Christianity, she was a goddess. And then when Christianity came, they knew they couldn't do away with her. She was way too powerful for them to get rid of her. So she became Saint Brigid. And, it took me a long time to get comfortable with the word witch. And that kind of came along with goddess culture. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not 100% there now. And I've been, I've had the app and done all this for years now. And at work last week on our Slack channel, one of my friends, I had said something in she was celebrating an work anniversary, and I said something nice to her, and she said, "I'm so glad that you came and here with your witchy ways." And I went, "Oh my God, I've been outed."
Right.
And I felt that fear. I felt fear, and that's what a lot of us hold. And I don't, it's my fear, but it's also my cellular DNA fear of the whole story we have of being told that things are wrong. So anyhow, so I wanted to do this. I still think we are in this prime time where we need to get comfortable with words, and we need to um, look at these items. And I love to flip things. I love, like,
Mhm.
examining. And more importantly than that, because I invited my good local friends to join me, who are two very witchy people in my life. And I wanted to share some stories of how finding this and living this way has helped, and maybe some tips or some things, or just talk. I get a lot to say on it, but I'm gonna pass it along. Who wants to go next?
Well, you talking about Bridget coming to you. I took my name, Buffalo Woman, because the white buffalo woman came to me. And she is also a bridge between the spirit and those of us that walk on the land. And her message is one of peace and coming together and forgetting our differences. And um, that was an earth-shattering event for me, because I'm one of those rare people that don't visualize. I can't close my eyes and bring up an image of anything. So when I had this out of body spirit walk, um, I knew it was not of my own imaginary making. It was something outside of me coming to teach me something, and it was a very powerful moment. I was about 20 years old. I was in college, and shortly before that happened, I had I had been told by an acquaintance at school that several people were calling me the witch, the college witch, the campus witch, and it shocked me a little because I had never done anything overtly witchy, but it it showed, and it made me feel that I have I have a personal power that emanates from me, whether I'm conscious of it or not. And we all do. We all do.
Cynthia, I remember you saying that story in Circle. Can you tell a bit more about it?
Yeah, sure. I was um, I was driving riding in a car with my two best girlfriends, and it was one of those old cars from the 80s that had a big front seat. And so we were all sitting in the front. I was by the window, and I closed my eyes, and all of a sudden I'm at the back. I'm behind the car, and I can see our faces through the back window. And I thought, okay, this is happening. Um, my body's in the car and it's safe. We were going through an area of the Talladega National Forest, which the the main forested area was off to the left of where from where we were driving south. And I thought, well, I'm just gonna go then. I'm gonna go explore into the forest. And I I thought, I wonder if I could fly like I used to fly in my dreams. And so I did, using the same motion that I remembered from my dreams. Went above the trees, and then down into the trees, I could see a deer. And I knew that I was supposed to follow the deer. And it wound through the forest until it came to a large clearing. And in the middle of the clearing was a big tree. Um, that because it was the only tree in the clearing, it was a picture book tree, perfect tree. And under the tree, that was it was sandy. No grass was growing right under the tree. And the deer led me to that, and I lit down. And from behind the tree, a little Indian boy, American Indian boy, in full fancy dress with the feathers around his ankles and bells, and he was all done up. And he like peeks around the tree, and he smiles from ear to ear. Like, I felt that he was so glad to see me. And he came out and he started clapping and dancing around. He was just ecstatic. And he took a stick and he started drawing some images in the sandy dirt. Um, but I didn't know what they meant. And there were no words between us. Um, and then shortly after that, he pointed toward the other end of the clearing, and in between these mountains, like a valley on the side of one side of the clearing, comes this large white figure. And as it got closer, I realized it was an enormous white buffalo. And on the buffalo was a beautiful woman in white buckskin and long hair. And she came right up to me. And I could touch, close enough for me to touch the buffalo. And she handed me her peace pipe. And I was I was so in awe. I had to check myself and like, is this really happening? It was and what do I do now? And so I took the pipe and it wasn't lit, but I took a puff from it and handed it back to her. And then she pointed to the backside, um, you know, in front of me of the clearing, and there were several mountain peaks, and they rose up and became wizened old American Indian bases, male and female, huge, mountain sized. And they just looked down on us, and that lasted a few seconds, and then they went back down to being just mountains. And then I looked, and the buffalo woman was gone, and the little boy, he 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 drew a circle in the dirt, and he pointed at it, and I knew that he meant it was time for me to go back to my body. And I questioned him, like just with body language, like how it's a circle in the dirt, and he just kept pointing at the circle. And so I thought, okay, and I literally just dove headfirst into the circle. And shortly after I did that, I was upright again, and there were I was going through a circular tunnel with rings of light that I was passing through, and I saw a bright light at the top of the tunnel. And as I approached it, I opened up my eyes, and I was in the car. So,
Wow. And that's so much more. What is that word you said that you can't visualize? You told me
it's called aphantasia.
And
and I didn't know until just a few months ago that it's a thing, and that there's 4 to 5% of the population are not able to visualize. And I'm a visual artist. I'm a painter. I'm a drawer. I do all sorts of multimedia crafts. And yeah, when I first learned that I was this way and other people aren't, I was quite jealous. I was like, so when metaphysics, talk about, visualizing, and they really mean it. They really mean that, most people can visualize being next to a stream. And I saw a podcast by this witch who was talking about that you don't have to have, an apothecary like this. You can have it in your mind, and you can go there virtually and do your work, and you can kit out your workshop with everything that you can imagine you would want in a workshop. And I was like, well, that must be nice because
Well, I'm so looking forward to because I've gone through been over and seen all your things and I don't know what most of them are. So that's one thing that I'm looking forward to. And that story, which I have heard before, but I didn't hear it knowing that you can't visualize becomes all that much more powerful, right?
Yes,
I can dream. Yes, I mean that's why for me it was like
Wow.
I can dream.
beautiful.
Some people with aphan, my nephew has it, and he can't dream. So a small percentage of that 4% can't even dream,
Wow.
but
Wow.
I'm able to dream. So, um, but yeah, doing it while waking is completely foreign concept to me. And yeah, I just recently learned that I'm different. And I wanted to bring that up today because people who do have aphantasia don't realize they have it until they are told it's a thing. And people who can visualize don't realize other people can't unless they know
Wow,
it's a
that's
thing.
interesting.
So I wanted to get that word out
Wow.
there because so much of what we read in metaphysical text and instructional videos talk about the power of visualization, and we can't all do it.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Amazing.
Well,
Beautiful.
before we take up all of our time, Jen, you're up.
Yes. Well, mine's short and sweet, but I was always in history, always into the books. I always felt like something was in my past, and I kind of ignored it because I was raised up Christian, and I ignored it. And it was years until I went back and I realized I need to research just a little bit. So I researched and come to find out my heart was into being a witch because something was from my past. I don't know what it was. I still don't know to this day. But when I went to my first gathering, it was a huge bonfire, and it was always Thea that really called out to me. And Freya was like something of love and war to me. And I was going through a hard time. And she came up into this fire. I'll never forget standing there at the fire, huge fire, long hair, beautiful antlers. Just, I can't even describe the beauty and what I felt from it. Um, I was on the fire side because my sign is fire. And I just, it was just like a good 20 minutes. I stood there. I know I didn't time myself or anything, but I felt like this is the calling that I need to be at. It's not that I need to be in love, self love myself and go for the love and war. And, but not just that. I feel like education for the women and men too. Um, they need this. I mean, everybody needs to open their eyes and see the real, see the beauty of what is on the other side, what is out there. Taking your history and taking the scientific stuff out there and realizing that you can understand more than what we're learning now. It's very important. And I take this because I know from my past something had happened. And I've researched DNA, got Scandinavian, Irish, and British in me, but it pulls, something pulls. Um, I can't explain the feeling, but it's a beauty. It's a beauty feeling. It's nothing of, evil or nothing that's feels wrong. It feels right. And I know I'm in the right path. I may have lost people, but you know what? It's okay. It's really okay. I've gained people in my life, and that's the beauty of it. And I thank you very much.
Beautiful, Jen.
My,
Thank you.
my my camera went blurry. I'm not just sure what happened. I'm trying to figure it out. I got all teary.
I did too. I did too.
Me too, a little.
Well, I gotta say that Jen has an absolutely amazing library of different books, like so many, and I can relate very much to that because um, yeah, I just adore books, and it's weird because I just thought that the three of us all have this deer connection too. I'm going to. I just want to real quickly show what I just did this post and on deer.
Seen that.
Yeah. And so here, the deer spirit. How does deer spirit connect to feminine archetypes? The deer spirit, this is from a prayer tent. This prayer tent is absolutely gorgeous. It's soon to be in New Hampshire, I believe. The deer spirit is a powerful totem bringing forth our interconnection to the old forest growth of ancient memory and holds the signature, fierce gentleness of the heart medicine of earth.
Mm, beautiful.
Beautiful.
I love that. And I love that fierce gentleness.
Yes.
Um, oh, wait a minute, I should have shown because you know, I have so many fun stories about Cynthia who, comes over and like um,
You want
she
me to go
loves
get it?
if you want to, sure, go get it. And I'll talk while Cynthia's out in my backyard eating different eating things from my lawn.
Uh,
Eat your flowers.
Flowers, yes. And I love that. That to me is part of being a witch. Like Midwest, oh, look how beautiful that is. Oh my gosh.
yes.
You want to tell the story of that, Cynthia?
So I was in a craft store and I had picked up this candlestick that had was an antler design. And this woman behind me in line, she's like, I can get you some real deer antlers. Are you interested? And I'm like, yeah. And so she called me up a few days later and she said that the 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 what do you call it? The alpha stag had reached an age where he had to be passed moved on to the next world. And she asked me if I would like the head, and she brought it to my house, and I taxidermied it, and
By using YouTube, right? Then you have to look up how to do it. And I
I
remember
did,
you
and there
calling
was
me and saying,
very
Amazing. Oh my word.
there's very little out there on how to do your own, you know,
I
taxidermy,
can't imagine why.
and all the videos that I found on how to were women,
Wow.
all of them. And so after this, I started roadkill hunting and would drive down the road and see something, stop the car. I kept a cooler in the back of my car and garbage packs, and I'd bring home any and everything that I found that was worth processing the bones for. And I use them in my practice on a regular basis.
See,
Um,
and I thought, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I've always felt a strong connection, excuse me, with deer and other animals. I used to go sit out and talk to the cows. Um, I have a deep connection with animals. Yeah, Jen.
You're shaking your head, Jen, too? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Deep connection. Very deep.
yeah.
Yeah, and I thought, I kind of, in my mind, I'm like, well, because, Western, I'm like, oh, that's weird and creepy and wrong, is one reaction to that and then I sit there and think, what's weird and creepy and wrong is when those chicken trucks drive by you and those
Yes.
poor chickens. I did a job for the USDA and talked to farmers about how they put up those chicken houses, and their whole thing is to get the chicken to where they can slaughter it as quick as they can. So 3 months time, they're never out in sunlight. Oh, cage free, wonderful. You know what cage free means? That they're sitting on the next person's. They
Yeah.
never develop their muscles because they don't have a chance to do that. They have artificial light. They're pumped through a food and stuff, and then they're slaughtered. Now that's weird and creepy and wrong, and that's
Yes.
that's what, we're all going to McDonald's getting, but taking animals and honoring their spirit, bringing them in and honoring,
And
respecting, that's what we need to move back to, I feel like.
I agree. I
absolutely.
agree. I carried a
And
bunny over to Cynthia's house before, because I knew she would care for it. I knew that it would die. I wanted it to go in peace, and I knew that she was there to help cross over this bunny. I know it was just a bunny, but to me it was precious, and I appreciate that. I do.
and we can even honor the spirit of those chickens when you buy a chicken. um
Didn't you catch did a chicken fall off a truck and you took it home?
but you can save the bones from the chickens that you get at the grocery store. You can still use every part of that animal to honor it, whether it was raised in a cage or died of natural causes or fell off a chicken truck. um yeah.
Beautiful.
I think that's something we have to get, because again, instinctively, we're like, oh, something dead. Don't touch it. Stay away from it. Bacteria. And, that's all, my mom was a nurse. That was what was drilled into my head. And, I had a cat, a very dear cat to me, that got hit by a car that was out, and this was, I've had many pets pass away, but this was the first one that was right there. And, that I got to, like, pet and keep while it had already passed away, and touch it. But I had to get over that fear of like touching dead things, you know?
Mhm. Yeah. My experience working at a veterinarian, I got used to that. But, I gave it love, and that's all you can do is, respect it, honor it, feel for it. It's
So tell
precious.
me, Jen, what do you think of when you think, I'm a witch, I define myself as a witch? What does that mean to you?
It means that healing is one word that comes to my mind. If I can't even heal anybody, I can heal an animal. I can heal, um, I can do my best. A witch to me is deeper. Um, it's in depth. I mean, you have to really appreciate the life of things and yourself, not just other things, but yourself. And being a witch has helped me have the strength to go on to understand that there's more to things that you realize. And it's beauty in everything, love and war and everything. You got to find that beauty. And, I know the world's a rough place right now. It's horrible, horrible. But we have to pick each other up and try to push on through this. And I feel like healing and through a witch, it's not just the medicines and stuff, it's the beauty of helping others. It's the beauty of just speaking to that person to give them the strength to go on. I think that's one thing. And there's so many, y'all know there's so many things to it. But that's just one word right now that's come to my mind.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of want to do here too. And we're kind of figuring out what we want to do on here. and welcome suggestions. But that's there's so many different types of witches. I mean, I'm not a cook, first of all, so I don't like to do recipes for food. So much less do I want to do a spell that has like get this and use that and put this in. I'm not doing it. But at the same time, I know when I found this path, I grew up in this. I grew up mainly in this concrete Plano, Texas, by Dallas, and it was just this concrete subdivisions everywhere. And I'm not, some people may love it, great, good for you, but I didn't realize until I got away from Plano and I got to the woods. And that was actually, I was living in St. Charles, a suburb of Chicago, and this was when I had my my oh my God, surrender moment that things have to change. And part of it, there was this little wooded area by where we lived, and it was like the houses down the street. There were these rich houses. Nobody ever, they had a little woodsy area. Nobody ever used it or went there. And it just, I wanted to go in there. And I remember that fear I had to get over of getting off the beaten path, like doing something different, actually physically crawling over the fence and going through the bushes into the woods. I had to overcome that. And it's funny because now in hindsight, I think of that quote by Clarissa Pinkola Estes, get out in the woods.
Yes.
Never get out in the woods. You're never gonna live. And
Oh no.
to me, that's just about facing your fears.
Yeah.
And then I got out there, little by little, I got more and more comfortable. And pretty soon I was going there every day and I'm finding paths and walking through there. And it just became my woods because nobody else is there. And it's so funny because today I was listening to, um, I got so comfortable out there. I never saw anybody except for this one time. And I am standing along the river and I'm singing I Am Here by Pink. I have my headphones in, so I'm just singing and my tone deaf as loud as I can. And I felt somebody. You know how you do that? And
Yes.
I turned around and there's this lady. She's like, "Are you okay?" Like, I'm awesome. Thank you. But that to me is part of it too, is taking
Yes.
back this. I don't have to, I can sing, I can dance, I can chant, I can howl under the moon and sit in circle with my sisters and laugh and I don't know. Today I was very sad because today I was outside, I saw all the ways our culture is damaged right now.
Yes.
And I thought, uh, the world needs her witches.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're exactly right. I mean, we need to go out in those woods. We need to feel the the what we're supposed to feel, but we can't feel it because of the corruption of this world.
Yeah. And for me, a defining thing about to be a witch is to be brave enough to take up space, to sing out in the woods, to go out into the woods and not be afraid you're going to die, to
Or be afraid and go out anyhow.
Yeah,
or anywhere, yeah,
take that first
and
step.
to know that if you do die, it's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I-
agree.
I've had that thought in the woods before. I love the woods so much now. And I like feel this sense of peace that I don't get anywhere else. And I've actually had that thought. If I die right here, right now, it's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, gives you
it's walking
peace.
without fear, and so much of of culture, worldwide culture, not just America, not just Christianity, it's everywhere, is this indoctrination that you've got to be afraid,
Yes.
and that does nothing but stifle your personal power and your connection to the universe. If you're afraid of what's out there, how can you be connected to everything? And that's not to say I'm never afraid, but I love the old adage that being brave doesn't mean you're not afraid. It means you do it anyway. So part of what I strive to do with other people is to help foster a sense of bravery, um, to be authentic, to do what you feel you need to do to bring peace and healing. Jen, like you said, I think the main thing that we do as practitioners is to heal, and it's not just physically but emotionally, and um, not just with other people but with the planet and animals. And um, I want to help people realize that we are all connected. And the exciting thing about being alive right now is that quantum physics is proving everything the mystics always said. And I think that's a beautiful thing. There's
Everything's
nothing
energy.
woo woo about it. It's we can prove it. We are all connected, and we do change the environment that we live in by observing it and by being present in it. And the less present we are, the more we are susceptible to the fears of other people that manifest as overbearing power and patriarchy. And we've got to get away from being vulnerable to all that damaging stuff. We've got to say no more.
Oh,
Yes, I
so
agree.
Jen, tell me something you do, like give me some like practices you do daily, weekly.
Sure. Every morning, I get up really early, like 4 o'clock in the morning. I go outside, I listen to the birds. Um, the birds will give me like peace. They'll give me signs of things that's come or to come. Um, and when the sun arises, I go outside and I just sit with my dog. We just sit and we go out to my trees. I'm a tree hugger and I hug all my trees. I know it's crazy. My neighbors probably think I'm crazy, but I don't care. I mean, I love my trees. I mean, I can't grow anything, but my trees keep everything. I mean, they give oxygen. I mean, who doesn't love a tree? So I hug the trees. I walk around the trees 3 times, and I throw the energy up to the air because I try. I don't. I want to give it out to people. I want to give it out to animals. I want to give it out to the beauty of this earth that we take advantage of every day. So then I walk in. I go to my ancestors' altar. I am starting to work with them right now. I offer my ancestors a cup of coffee because one of my ancestors was my papa, and he used to read coffee grounds. And I always watched him and I always wondered, what is he doing? And every single morning he'd read his coffee grounds. So I offer him a cup of coffee every morning. I light, go to Hecate. I give her a little offering. And I thank the world. And I'm with my animals. They give me love. Of course, I go to work every single day. I work really hard. But when I come home, I go outside again because I can't get enough of going outside.
That's probably an indication you're a witch, because I'm the same way.
Yes,
I hate
Yeah,
being
me too.
inside.
yes. I hate it. I love outside.
Me
Love
Mm.
it.
too.
So I'm curious, do your neighbors ever give you strange looks?
Yes. The other day, I actually got to meet one of them, and I said, "How are you doing?" And I had this shirt on that said, "I'm a witch, wife, and mother." And I was like, "Oh, great!" And she just said, "Hey, how are you?" And I was like, "Fine. How are you doing?" And she's like, oh, good. And she walked on in. I was thinking, why did she walk in so quick? And I thought, my shirt and me hugging the trees and,
Ah,
giving energy to the earth. And I thought, that's okay. I don't mind. It's all
no,
good.
it's Cynthia and I don't live. We're what, like 3 hours away, but I got a chance to come through there the other day, and I was like, let's meet at the park and we'll do circle.
Oh, that's
So I have
good.
my daughter with me, at both daughters, and we met at the park, and it was so funny because we're instantly like we brought all our stuff,
Love
like
it.
the oracle deck, and we had like little altar stuff and rocks and stones and just a little of everything. And I had my speaker, and we sat out there, and we sang, we did a meditation. And this was a park with like people just, and I somewhat thought, the world is changing. It really is. And
Yeah,
that's part of why I wanted to do this too, because I wanted to give people permission uh, to find divinity in whichever way you can. And if that's Jesus, great. Um, I sometimes have a little bit of problem because Jesus says how you treat the least of you is how you treat me. And I think we are in some times where we're having to really look at that, because how are we treating the earth? How are we treating each other?
the earth,
To me,
Mhm.
that's
the
most important.
planets. I mean, it's not just the earth, it's the planets out there. It's I'm, I want to go into planet. I want to learn more about the planets and stuff, the way they align, the way they teach us things. It's not, we need to be appreciative of just the whole universe. I mean,
Mhm.
everything is aligned for a reason. Everything is there for a reason. And I just appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we should all appreciate it. Like you said, we need to bring something out to the world. We need to show them not to be afraid anymore of the woods. Don't be afraid.
Hmm. Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good place to cut it for the day. Thank you for
This was
coming.
wonderful.
Love you.
We'll
Thanks
see
for,
you next time.
yeah,
See
we'll
you
see y'all
next
next
time.
time.
Bye bye.
Bye.